just kind of and it was nice. And, you know, Mark reaching out to me as far as some of the Bon video stuff he's doing, because I want to, that's my next thing, you know, and just, I mean, amazing people, Margot and, you know, just everybody. It's just cool.
Well, tell me, kind of go through the numbers with me so far. I know that when you and I spoke last time, you had $2.1 million in the pipeline, meaning in pre-approved buyers that are out actively shopping.
Exactly. And the math is similar because a couple of them, you know, I broomed just because I was, not broomed, but you know what I mean? So here's what I did. From last Friday, I had one flip that turned into a live deal Friday. All right. Over the weekend, I had 7 people submit offers, of which 2 were accepted so far.
Okay.
You know, so there's 5 more that are still trying to. The biggest problem I'm running into is seller's concessions. You know what I mean? Most of them need 6, and you know what I mean? They're countering at 3 and stuff like that. So I had 2 of them actually got accepted offers, and 5 are still in the, you know, whatever negotiations. You know, counter back and forth. You know, and that's. And then more than that, and this is something, you know, that you work a lot with, I had 7 lead tracker people between Monday and Tuesday. 7. Now
you added 7 new leads?
7, yeah, Monday. And that was between, well, 6 were Monday, 1 was yesterday, so however you want to do that. And dude, I even got one online application. I didn't even know we did those barely, even though it's been out there for 2 years. I had one, kid you not. A local person here actually submitted online, you know, which was, what's that guy's name, Jason? What's the guy who works with Dave Brown? Brian Jason, the country singer dude. The real musician.
Josh Bach.
Josh Bach. But, you know, he showed me a little bit as far as, you know, how he does some of the online things. So I put that as a link, and I actually had one of those come in last night, you know? I mean, it's just, and one of the people yesterday was, they Googled me and looked at Zillow reviews and said I had 21, so I had to be pretty sharp. I'm like, yeah, I got you fooled. But, you know what I mean? There's just, once you get some action going out there, you know what I mean? It's kind of amazing, you know? I mean, a personal referral came in, and 5 of these deals are from, whatchamacallit, new agents, yeah, which is kind of cool, you know? And matter of fact, I may need to hang up because I may call you back in about 2 seconds. I just got people, one of the offers, the builder's requiring them to get pre-approved or pre-qualified their in-house lender, which is pissing me off. You know what I mean? And that's on a 230.
That's normal.
I've never heard of it. I mean, I remember when we had some of those, you know, bank homes, you know, they had them do it. So talk to me real quick. I mean, they're just by law required. I mean, they can't make them pull credit reports and DOs and LPs and all that. It's just a pre-qual, right?
No, typically yes, but in some cases the builders, if they've got a good sales team, and Dave or Margot and John can speak to this as well, a lot of the times they use that to be able to offer incentives up. Like they'll be more than happy to give them huge costs reduction in their fees or their upgrades if they use their lender.
Yeah, so
exactly,
and they're $5,000 on the deal if they use the in-house lender, and it's really hard to compete with that unless you have somebody local.
Well, that's the trick I'm running into. I mean, right now it's a 230 construction, and you know, obviously they're trying to do that. You know, flip them in-house. You know.
Right. Well, all you need to do is have a conversation. Have a conversation with your borrower and tell them, listen, this is what the builder's going to try to do, and leverage the angle of there's not going to be any representation for you. You know, what you want is somebody, you want somebody on your corner on the financing side. If the builder has control of the financing, then what do you think the builder's incentive is? It's to close you, regardless of what the fees are, the costs are, and all that stuff. So if you run into the situation where you're getting competed against and they're discounting fees and discounting all that stuff, call me up and let's have a separate conversation, because there might be a few ways that I've helped other LOs out that might help you win the deal or keep it.
Well, my phone's blowing up right now because they submitted the offer. So I'm going to hang up and join the conference call in about 2 minutes. But this is 2:30 with the purchase. So I'll call you right back.
No worries. Go for it, buddy.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
You know what I love most about what he's going through right now is he is he is excited about his business again. It's amazing to me when you find that place in your mind that you get excited to come to work, how much more impactful you are with your database, with your clients, with your referral sources. People are drawn to that. It's kind of like a moth to a flame in some respects.
Yeah, I agree.
Does anybody else ever feel like that? I mean, the more excited we get, the busier and more productive we seem to get.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Margot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I found that even when I had that period last fall when I had 15 in the pipeline. It was that confidence that comes from, I don't need the work. And that's the hardest thing. They say you should work like you don't need the money and you'll be successful, which is 100% true, but it's very, very hard to do.
Well, it comes from humble beginnings, Margot, and several months ago we had that conversation. Even when you're talking to your clients, when you come from a place of want and not need, you become more attractive to them because they don't feel like you're trying to sell them. And I know Dave Brown on the call has had the same kind of the same kind of transformation. I know what was it, a year and a half or so ago, Dave? You weren't in the mindset that you are today. And look at, I mean, your volume. I don't think I've ever seen your pipeline have the volume of loans that it has in there today in the years that you've worked here, even when you had 2 or 3 other LOs on your team.
No, I was trying to ease into it, And boy, did I ever do that, didn't I?
Wow.
Eased into it. Jeez, that's pretty embarrassing.
Well, it's not even embarrassing, but it goes to tell you guys about, and this holds true with any LO that you eventually put on your team or any employee that you have on your team. Enthusiasm and the excitement level and the energy level of your team, it pays dividends in so many different ways. Higher productivity with your employees, higher communication skills with yourself and with your clients, greater referability. People are drawn to that positivity. People are drawn to that energy level. And I know I just had this conversation with John Scandamus. John and I just talked about how he picked up the phone and called 5 of his past clients. He called them up to simply tell them about his change in direction with the new company, and the conversations evolved into mortgage opportunities. He didn't even set out to have those conversations. And he said for the first time in a while, and John, you can correct me if I'm wrong, he said the first time in a while he was excited to talk to people. I mean, his energy level was higher than I've ever seen it. Hey, John, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here, and that was very accurate.
So tell me a little bit about why you're starting to see, you're starting to get a little bit more excitement in your business. Is it just because you're talking to people?
Well, you have to understand the past 5 years I came from a prison that sucked my soul in the form of a federally chartered bank, where I had to do everything from start to finish. And I was a whipping boy who would bring the business in, and I had to cater, and I had to push the operations and complain to everyone just to make closing deadlines. And so now it's 180 degrees coming to success, where not only do we have turn times which just dwarf and just kill where I came from, but we have people like you, Doug, who are very articulate and are dedicated to helping us develop. But so for me, I feel like it's a rebirth, and I have all the tools necessary to be very successful. Unlike and a rebirth meaning I have to go out and call these past database clients that I've never had the opportunity before because I was too busy spinning wheels, putting out fires with my old company just to get deals done. Now, I mean, there's no excuses, and I'm the only one to blame if I don't get this thing rocking. So I like the personal accountability and the opportunity, so I don't have any excuses.
Right,
and
right.
That was my theme for Lent. I'm giving up excuses.
Anyway. What I want to focus on a little bit more on today is really going to be this. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the results out of your businesses that you are seeking. I can look at the statistics based on your closed loan volume, and I can see how many loans you need to close and what volume you need to hit and all that stuff. but I feel like that's more of a result, and I'm wanting to swim upstream a little bit farther to find out if there's more that we can be doing to help ensure or insulate you against, i.e., those excuses or those time vampires or things that prevent you guys from hitting those checkpoints in your business. Can Margot, can you talk to me a little bit about where I can help you at a higher level? I mean, you know how to talk to people, you know how to leverage relationships, you know how to communicate, you're exceptionally good at what you do, and I just want to make sure that we're providing the highest level of value to you when you pick up the phone and you're on these calls.
Right. I think that by sharing your expertise, big picture, I mean, I'm stepping a couple weeks into the future here, so I think that what you bring to the table, or what Success and you specifically bring, is your expertise, because you've gone down this road before, and you talk to people that are at our level and above our level as to what they're doing. You're able to see what they do that's working, and you transmit that back to us. So I find tremendous value in that.
Okay, so be specific with me a little bit. When you think about what your business needs, when you think about what you as a business owner need, I know that the conversation that you're going to be having tomorrow will change that up a little bit, but when you're freed to have to worry about some of those other responsibilities, is there any roadblock or challenge or time vampire that will prevent you from seeing what you believe is your capabilities? You know, reaching what it is that you believe you're capable of.
No other than my ingrained perfectionism or whatever, to want to make sure that the transaction goes smoothly. And that's, bar none, that's my biggest challenge, is trusting somebody.
Letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go.
And I have yet to be, from other than very brief periods, happy with what was going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's very,
Completely.
very hard for me to say, oh yeah, let's just act like this has never happened to me before and bend over and grab my ankles.
So let's assume for a moment that happens, and I'm confident that your conversation tomorrow will lead you down that path. And it may not be tomorrow that it happens, but it may be in 30 or 60 days from now it does. When that happens and you're freed from that restraint, what are you going to be looking at on a daily basis that you're going to need help with? Dave, why are you laughing?
Because she said I've got to bend over and grab my ankles. How did you keep talking with a straight face? I love you, Margot.
No, God knows how I talk.
I know it, but I'm like, Doug just kept on going like, I didn't hear that.
I know, he's trying to bring
Just so you guys
out.
remember, this call is recorded, right? You guys understand that.
Welcome to the group, John.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be, what am I looking for? I know you're trying to lead me to realize something.
Margot, you're going to have no more excuses in a very short period of time.
Okay.
I want to know, when those excuses that you currently use are off your plate, what are you going to be looking at as far as where you need the greatest help? That's a powerful question for somebody that has been in the business for a long time. Just like John. John and I had a conversation earlier today, and even said it just now. He goes, he came from a shop where he had to do everything. Now that he doesn't have to do anything, and our company, though imperfect, does a really good job of closing loans, he can't keep his loans in the pipeline. They close out too fast. So his greatest struggle was being able to shift gears from being a manager, overseer, a controller, a air traffic controller, for a lack of a better term, with his files, to where now all he has to do is fly a plane. So my question for you is, when you have no other excuses about whatever that was on that time block sheet that you did, what are you going to need the most help with? Because that's really where this call needs to go for you, for Dave, for John, because all of you guys have very similar businesses. I just want to know that I'm talking to the right topic for you guys on the call. You want to think about it?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't even thought that far because I figure I've got it. Yeah, no, I haven't thought that far.
So here's an analogy that I was given the other day, and I thought it was really relevant. If you're driving on a car on the expressway and all you're doing is looking right over the hood, how soon before you run into somebody?
Pretty darn quick.
Okay. If you're looking at the car in front of you, how soon do you think you're going to get into an accident?
5 seconds.
You probably won't be nearly as quick as if you're just looking over the hood of your car, right?
Correct.
So when they teach you to drive, they teach you to look way down the road, way down the expressway, and look for the taillights lighting up long before you even have to put on your brakes. Correct?
Correct.
Right now, Margot, I know you've been living in your business and you've just been looking over the hood of your car because that's where you had to live. I get it. But you're about to change your business infinitely compared to where it's been, and I'm saying that with such confidence because I know what's going to happen. I want you to start in your mind looking beyond the hood of your car and looking past the car that's in front of you, and I need you to start analyzing your business to the point of where do you want your business to be in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, and that's the kind of conversation that you and I and Dave and John and whoever else is on the call need to be having on a weekly basis.
Nice. Yes.
So think about it for a little bit. How about you, Dave? Dave, you've reached that point where, man, I feel like you should be teaching the class.
Well, thank you, but I think, and I think for me today, 2 things. One, I think I've been able to clear a bunch of the obstacles that Margot you're trying to clear, maybe John you're trying to clear. So now I'm kind of at that no excuses point right now, and I think something that I have just in the last couple things going on in the last few weeks that I'm seeing. 2 things. One, there's I think my agents have slowed down a little bit as far as new lead activity. I think for the month I'm at about 13 or 14 leads for the month, so I'm tracking less than I was last month on lead activity.
Yep.
And I think maybe twofold. One, I think that the agents were pretty busy hunting. They've gotten a bunch of deals or leads, and now they're trying to juggle the balls. So I think that's one thing. The other thing that we're having is probably like other areas, but my client mix right now is there's no inventory. So we're really struggling, with the inventory. I had lunch with a realtor yesterday, and he said, how many houses? And we're talking up where my office is, Doug. It's the Northwest Allen County. Yeah, and so that's the school system my kids feed into. And he said, how many houses between 190 and 250 do you think are on the market right now today that are 4-bedroom, 2.5 or 3 bath? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, 1. He said, there's just nothing, so what's happening, the market in that 150 range is pretty non-existent with listings. Like typically my addition where I live, you can drive through, and there's just, so I think that's creating a little bit of an issue, like, okay, what do we do? So, things that I have to do, and it comes back to no excuses. I have to get myself out of the office and go kind of double my realtor base right now. And twofold, I need to kind of double my realtor base so that I have more lead activity, so that I meet my, by the time we have that meeting in August, that I'm, tracking at 40 leads a month, like I want to do. But more importantly, I also need to diversify where my realtor presence is, so that, I'm kind of looking at it and going, well, the part of the market right now that's still really healthy is that 80 to 130 market. There's still a lot of houses in that market, but the majority of my pre-approvals are not in that 90 to 100. Fortunately, they're a little higher.
Right.
So, but if I had, if I had 4 or 5 more agents, that would help diversify that pool, maybe in areas of town. So I think, my challenge is that I need, which we've known, and so now there's no excuses. The other thing I did just started yesterday, I told Kaylee, I said, okay, I don't want you to copy. I don't want to be copied on every email anymore. I'm being bombarded with emails, and then I'm reading them, and she's at a place where I'm going to let her fly, and I'm entrusting her to, you do everything internally here. I'm going to go out and get more leads because she can't make more money if I'm not doing that. So I'm going to start trying to do a much better job. I stayed home this morning and made phone calls rather than coming in here and making phone calls. And I'm going to start, just doing some things like that because she's extremely competent. But when I'm sitting here, then her and I are chatting about stuff or files and what, and we're, she's showing me things and she's completely competent enough to do it. If I wasn't here, she would just do it. And, so I'm just going to kind of empower her to, you do your thing, and I'm gonna go get more business because without that, I can't, I can't pay you more money. So hey, that's where I'm at.
Okay, so I'll go through a little exercise with you if you could just humor me on this for a little bit. Can you open up your lead tracker for last month?
Yeah.
Do you have it readily available?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I have a folder right here. Hold on. Google, let me go to my folder, HIJK, lead tracker, March, lead tracker for February, lead tracker, right there it is.
Yep. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm looking at the 30 leads that you got in the month as well. I'm looking at the number of people that you have on your lead tracker that are either friends, past clients, or other sources other than realtors. You're realtor heavy for the month of February as leads go, correct? Would you agree?
Yes. Yep, I would agree.
Okay. So how many years have you been in the business, my friend?
25, 30, almost so 30.
It's a fair assessment that you've got a pretty good reputation in your town?
Yeah, probably. Should.
Okay. So my question for you is, and here's the beauty of the lead tracker. When you aren't getting the volume of leads that you need in for the month, you always need to go back to your lead tracker and connect with those leads that are still open, meaning not the pre-approvals, the ones that are really just open, people that haven't done anything, people that haven't committed, but you know that they're out considering buying a home or doing something. That's the first step. The second is, Dave, you've got a database of how many people?
Oh, just actual clients, just a couple hundred.
Okay. So my question for you is, how are you not allocating some of your time and or resources to mining your database to help fill that funnel? When you're at 14 leads for the month, you can literally call 10, 20 of your past clients, and I guarantee you, as John Scandamus will attest to it, he's batting 5 for 5.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about calling somebody up and introducing yourself and saying, hey, it's Dave Brown, blah, blah. I'm talking about having a conversation with them about a possible mortgage or a refi. It may take you 20 phone calls to cultivate 10 conversations like that. But the challenge that I'm going to give to you is I think you should go out there and diversify your realtor base. I know that Fort Wayne is a tight community. You need to probably be in other areas. But I go back to you have a database of people that are sitting there that's guaranteed money for you. And if you're not calling on them, you're missing out on a good 15 to 20 leads a month out of your database. Truly.
Yeah.
Hey, John. Talk to us a little bit about what you've experienced over the last week or two since you started calling your database.
Well, it's just something I've been totally unprepared for. As I said before, the way that it worked with my past relationships, where we had maybe 60 days before a loan start to finish, if I was lucky, I would be engaged in, and I would tell people, I said, hey, we're going to have an affair, and we're going to get to know each other very well, and I'm going to push and fight hard for you, right? And it just lasted so long. And so I never wanted to get my pipeline too big. It's sad to say, because I hated being the chief firefighter, and that's what I felt like. So now,
I know that.
so I don't have that issue at all. It's by calling these people, like I just call this guy, we purchased this system, Salesforce or Junto or whatever it's called. I have everyone in my database was put, that they're all past clients for however long, put into this database. And now I'm calling them alphabetically. There's like 36 people in the A's, and I can't, the most recent one I spent 17 minutes with yesterday, I just called him up. His loan anniversary comes up on March 29th. He has owned it for 4 years, and I didn't even realize that because before I never had the time to follow up with people after we closed the deal, I was on to the next one. Going back and touching base and realizing there's relationship there, there's an opportunity to do a refinance, and I never even paid attention to it before, just by reconnecting with someone. So to me, it's amazing because you form, you get in deep with these people, their credit, their dreams, whatever, and you're with them, and then you close, and it was all forgotten about. But I've been leaving so much on the table that I've realized by just making phone calls. But my problem is now I can't make them fast enough.
Right. Last month, Dave, you had 8 referrals come in from either from Kaylee or your friends. 8 out of 30. The rest of them are realtor heavy. I would think that the months that your realtors aren't heavy, your goal should be to focus more on your database. It's like a volume knob. The beauty of the lead tracker is it tells you exactly where your business is functioning, where your business is strongest in. And the months that you're low on your realtor leads, like I guarantee you come April, May, and June, your realtor leads are going to pick up. But in the months that it's slow, you should be augmenting your pipeline with your database. So that means whether you've got the leads coming in on your realtors or not, you should be calling 10 of your past clients a week. And those 10 conversations will guarantee that you'll add more loans to the pipeline by talking to people that already know you, like you, and trust you, and all you got to do is talk to them about, talk to them about Kellerman basketball, talk to them about what's happening in Greater Fort Wayne. I don't care, but like John did, he didn't really call them up to solicit them for a mortgage, but the conversations kind of transition into that, just because of who you are.
No,
does anybody else agree or disagree that that's a good strategy?
No, that works. I find when I deal with clients, when I'm calling past clients, I'm so much more relaxed, more authentic, Margot, because there's that history of what we went through, or their family and things like that. It's just so much easier for me to do that with past clients, and I feel that they're a little more willing to give referrals in a lot of cases, whereas realtors have a loyalty to their usual guy or whatever.
You've earned the right with your past clients because you've delivered on what you promised. You've earned the right, and I love the term authentic. You are more authentic with people that are already in your life. Who cares if you haven't talked to them in a year? You've established that credibility. They've taken your memory, they've put it in a box, and they've shelved it in the back of their brain. And when you call them, they get a chance to open it up, and all those same feelings come rushing back, and they're like, oh my gosh, how you doing, Margot? How you doing, Dave? Same with John. So, Dave, I love the fact that it's the 15th of the month or the 16th, and you've identified that you don't have enough leads yet. My challenge to you is for the rest of the month, you should be able to augment your 20-some leads that you're lacking with your database.
Yeah. I heard a good analogy on that, where a lot of people have that awkwardness where they say, oh, I haven't called these people in a year or 2 years. They're, you feel bad that you haven't called them, and like you're, just picking them for business. And somebody said to me, well, look at it the other way around. They haven't called you. How do you think they feel?
Correct.
And it's like one of those things where when it dawns on you, it's like, yeah, it isn't, that I didn't call them. It was just, because they didn't call me either. So it's, you just let go of that awkwardness, and, that sunk in, and just that familiarity, and you just go. That's why I feel very anxious when I can't make those calls.
Right.
No, I think, Doug, I think that's a good idea, because part of, I guess, the direction where I was, going with where I need to move the next step here is, I'm sitting here beside Kaylee, I don't want to say babysitting. She's doing it. I'm not being as effective because I'm sitting here I'm not soliciting enough or going and getting other things. So that'll be a good help to fill my day now with activities. Mix that in with maybe a couple more realtors. But like that lead tracker you're looking at, yours isn't totally updated. I ended up with 34. So I had 3 more realtor leads last month, and a friend lead was the 34th one.
Right.
So, speaking to your point, so while we're on the call, I'm sitting here marking out but every one of these have now gone into Jungo. Yep. Whether they're good or not, they're all in Jungo now, so that we can pull them up, see what the status is, where they're at. Are they on a marketing campaign? So we're at least, even if they're credit impaired, yep. I'm still dripping on them. Unless they're like in the 400, like low 4s, I'm still putting them into a campaign and dripping. But now you're right, I need to start going back. That's where my gold mine is, and you're right, I'm not doing enough of that. Point taken.
The lead tracker is another form of it. So for me, when I did it, whenever I walked into my business and I opened up my lead tracker and I felt like I was behind on my lead volume, I would simply go back to the past 3 or 4 months of leads that I had on my lead tracker that weren't converted or weren't dead, and I would simply call them. And you know how many I was able to revive? Better than 50% of them. And once you revive them, I put them back on my lead tracker again for that month, because essentially you've reinitiated that conversation for a second time, and you're keeping them on the hook, and you've had a conversation with them about what you do. And so I go back to the reason the lead tracker shares so much value for me is because I'm able to literally look at it in less than 10 minutes, decide what I need to do that day in order to be the most productive and efficient and effective owner I can possibly be. That's the only thing I cared about. That's the only thing I looked at. There was obviously more things that I had to worry about with the team and finances and so forth, but my number one concern was, if I wasn't bringing in the business, everything else that I had to worry about that day was going to go away, because it was all going to be, I wouldn't be able to fund it. So when you have conversations with yourself about, man, I'm not getting the 40 leads in this month, you should open up your lead tracker, go back to the last 3 months, call them, and then after that, you should be calling your database, your past clients over the last 12 to 24 months, just reconnecting. And I guarantee you, those 3 steps, the realtor relationships you currently have, your ability to go out there and the ability to go out there and build new realtor relationships, but the third one is using this lead tracker in your database as an augment. It's an augment. Mine, as I've said many times before, 63% of my business came from my lead tracker in my database. 63%. So I knew where my bread was buttered. And so I think, Dave, in this case, if you're looking for ways to increase your volume of leads, those 2 other strategies, like you were going to call new realtors, but go back to your lead tracker. Go back to the last 3 or 4 months, and then start with your database.
Yep, good idea.
Mr. Scandamus, I'm going to ask you the same question, buddy. You're going to be busier here in the next couple months, I assure you of that. My question for you is, I feel like you've got a rock star processor or loan partner in Robin, and I know Alvaro you're trying to figure out a position for him to fit as far as a permanent position. Where can we, me, and anybody else on this call, focus our energy on for you to help you achieve that volume goal that you have?
Well, I really like these calls that we're doing right now. for the most part. The whole part about being and educating on how to be a business owner and knowing where we spend our time, knowing where our leads are coming from and tracking them. And like, February was the first time I've ever went and put everyone on a track, or the lead tracker program. And I've just never really been organized like that before at all. Like I said, I had 47 units closed last year that were all word of mouth, and I was flying blind with a company that was horrible for the most part, except I could loan in all 50 states, but that's the only shining, brightness. But for you guys, you're already doing it. I guess maybe as how you could help would be when I have 2 employees right now, but they're both on commission. They don't have any salary, which I'm very fortunate for. But I know when I do more volume, like last month in January, they made $15,000, just the 2 of them. So, but I'm okay because I don't have to pay them when I'm not really closing now. So it's just a matter of how can I take what I'm doing until I can build my pipeline up and have them doing some work to help me get through this list of calling everyone. That's all.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the idea that your team is on commission, and how you were able to sell that is beyond me. That's amazing. Amazing. I think the rest of us would love to learn how you negotiated that deal.
Yeah, I'd like to learn that.
Well, I think they're super talented. The one who's my LP, she has her husband passed away in the line of duty, not from an accident, but just from getting cancer, and she gets paid every month. So she's just motivated. Once we hand her the ball after someone's committed, she can take it to the finish line, which is incredible. My other guy, he's a tennis pro who has a great list of potential clients, but he's afraid to open his mouth because both of them don't like to sell, but they're really good at doing what they do, so they have income otherwise, even though they can make more money from me closing the deal. So it's just trying to find a balance, and hopefully I'll have the problem one day that, oh my gosh, they're making too much money, I need to put them on salary.
Right. Well, and we talked about that a little bit earlier today. Going back to the fundamentals of why the lead tracker is so important is when you know what you're doing every day, your team will be able to look at you and they'll follow you with a much higher level of passion when they know that what you're doing is to benefit them. And you'll get even more production out of them when they get the ball handed to them and you see them run across the finish line, because doing it for 3 or 4 files a month is easy with 2 people. Doing it for 10 to 15 loans a month with 2 people is going to be a little bit more of a managerial challenge for you and a leadership challenge. But you owe it to yourself and to the rest of your team to really take the day that you have seriously. And I don't want you to think of your life as being busy. We need to have a balanced and productive life. And so the lead tracker, in my motive in teaching it, isn't to help you guys really reach your income potential. It really comes back to the balance of life. I don't want you guys working past 5 o'clock. I don't want you guys working on the weekends. I want you guys to look at your life during the week for 40 hours a week, and I want you to work hard and play hard. And I want your lives to be balanced to the point where you're making the income that you want to make, but you're doing it in a 40-hour work week. And if you're not achieving that goal and you're still working harder and longer hours and not achieving the goals, it boils down to really what your activities look like. And I will tell you, the lead tracker is the one document that I have found in my life that doesn't allow me to hide behind excuses, period. There is none. If you don't have the volume of leads in there, we know what you're not doing. And so the conversations around your past clients and your realtors and your sphere of influences and your LOs and your team, those are all great as long as they translate into leads on the tracker. And so I challenge every one of you guys, if your goal is to close 10 loans a month, I believe that we bat 30%. You should have 30 leads on your lead tracker. And if you don't, I know that your life for that month was derailed at some point, or you just didn't put the energy into it that you know you should have, and that's fine, because that's not what this call is about. It's not about browbeating anybody. It's about, I just want you guys to be able to look in the mirror every morning and go, I know why I'm working past 5. I know why I'm working on the weekends. Dave, I know you want to be out on the lake, and I hope to God we're going to spend some time out there together. John, I know you want to be with your family. I know you want to be at watching your daughter's gymnastics, and I know you want to be doing other things than working. And I know, Margot, you'd rather be at home drinking wine on the farm. But we get no one's sharing this level of stress. Margot, your stress level last fall and winter was immense. I don't want to see that anymore. Dave, I know where you've come from, and John, I know you're feeling some of the pressure now. This lead tracker is really as simple as I can make it. To what I see when I look at it is, I know what Dave did during the month of February. I know exactly what he did, and I know exactly what Margot did. And John, eventually I'll know exactly what you're doing.
Right.
But I can't help each of you guys out if I don't know what you're doing on a monthly basis. And so I challenge you guys. Dave, you set a goal. Margot, you set a goal. John, you've got an economic reality that you want to achieve. Everything that you guys want is possible. This year alone, the mortgage industry should be 30 to 40% more in volume nationally than it was last year. So there's not a single reason why, John, you shouldn't do more than you did last year. Dave, I know you'll do more. Margot, I know you'll do more. And this isn't a revolutionary change to your business. It's just about managing and being cognizant of what you do every day. So if, Dave, you have 14 leads in the pipeline on your lead tracker, and you got 15 days left. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Margot, you've got some conversations that you're going to have, and I know without any question that you're going to see a significant freedom provided to you, and I'm going to ride you until I see you hitting the numbers that you want to hit. Your life, your significant other, your animals, your freedom deserves it. So
that's why I pay you the big bucks.
What's that?
That's why I pay you the big bucks.
Well, if that's the case, I'm going to send you a refund because I don't think it's that valuable.
I do.
All right, guys, that's all I had for you guys today. If you guys have anything else you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it.
Thanks so much, Doug.
Nope, thanks.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.